Hi, this is week 3 of answering some of our readers' questions. I hope that the last 2 weeks have been helpful for you. If you haven't gotten to see them, I hope you'll click back and take a look. It might be the same question that you have had. Just like these readers have sent us questions and then waited for us to answer on the blog, we so appreciate getting questions because these are the things that all of us as speakers have struggled with at one time or another. You are not alone. This is a community of speaker girls, and I'm so glad you are here today. I wanted to answer a third and final question for this little series, and I think it's one that we all struggle with. Our reader said, "My first priorities are as a wife, mom to 6, and grandmother to 17. Now, I don't have all those people to take care of. And I'm firmly committed to keeping my life in balance to honor God and bless my husband. However, I'm also passionate about helping moms be the best moms they can be, which requires some travel. I love public speaking as well as teaching, either in groups or one-on-one. I also want to get my book out there. So how do I combine all of the above?" I think balance in ministry is one of those things that we all wrestle with, because if our priorities are in the right place, then the people around us are more important than the tasks on our calendar. However, God has put a calling on your life, or you wouldn't be visiting this blog today. God's put a calling on my life, and that's why I do coaching and I do speaking and I do some writing for Proverbs 31 Ministries. Sometimes that means that we're stretched a little thin. So how do we maintain balance? Well, one of the ways that I maintain balance is by trusting my husband to help me. Now, some of you may be single women out there, and so what you may want to do is to enlist a close friend, somebody, one of those truth-telling friends, not somebody who just says what you want to hear, but somebody who will definitely tell you what will be helpful for you. My husband is that person for me, and so before I book events, I will ask him about that date. He'll check his calendar too, because he holds down the fort when I'm home. Our children are older, so it's easier, but still I want to honor him. And for example, in the spring, because you know women's ministry is very seasonal, so I speak about once a month, but it's usually clustered. So I have summers sort of free, but falls are busy, springs are busy, and sort of right around the holidays too. And so I got a request for an event, and I realized that if I said yes to that event, it would be 3 weekends in a row that I would be traveling. That's unusual for us. So that was definitely one that I asked my husband about. So we sat down, we took a look at the calendar and looked at what the space on either side of those 3 weekends looked like. And because those spaces were fairly open, Barry said to me, "Yes, I think you should go ahead and say that you'd love to do the event." So I think it's the accountability of other people, that people around us who love us are willing to give us feedback, and that we are very receptive to that feedback and try to be tuned in to the needs of people around us. Also, I think once we start slipping on our commitments and maybe missing deadlines and things like that, that's a time to take a look at our schedules and maybe do some reprioritization and casting out some of those things that we said yes to that maybe we should have said no. So balance is one of those tricky things, but thank you for asking those questions, because it's so important, isn't it? I think for the heart of women, our relationships are more important than everything else, and so we cannot let those go by the wayside. Finally, I want to give you one last reason that I think coaching is so powerful. One of the things that I love doing the most for our Next Step Speaker Services clients is I love to help them identify their strengths. Several years ago, our Proverbs 31 team did Strength Finders 1.0, and I really recommend that for anyone who might be interested in finding out what your strengths are. The philosophy of that book is that we shouldn't spend so much time on our weaknesses, although it is important to work on strengthening our weaknesses. But what we really need to do is maximize our strengths. I love that idea. And so one of the things that I delight to do is to become head cheerleader for my clients, to help them through those spiritual battles, through the insecurities and the things that we all deal with, and help them really identify what their strengths are so they can maximize those strengths in their messages. I think that's when we make the most eternal impact, is when we're taking what God created in us and we're really developing it to its fullest potential, that we become the women that God created us to be. So thank you for listening to me and putting up with my same shirt. I promise I haven't really worn it for 3 weeks. It was really about an hour. But thank you for putting up with this, and I hope that you're having a fantastic summer. Try some balance today. Take a little trip to the pool or go sit out on your back porch and read a book and enjoy your summer.